really what I love is just empowering people. I just want you to feel like the most confident in your own skin and your own features and your own natural beauty. But I've modeled in Mexico, I've modeled in Miami, LA, Vegas, San Diego is probably my other favorite too.
How did the modeling perception for you shift after that experience?
It like totally opened up my world. But if there's a will, there's a way, you know?
You knew that if there was somebody better than you, you wanted to talk to them and you wanted to find out how you can do what they're doing.
Because you have so much experience both as a model and as a professional makeup artist. Like, what would be the best way to go about that situation?
So I was with Pat McGrath at Sephora. She's with YSL and L'Oreal. We're talking about fragrances, we connect, and then you would be in different worlds. So there was like the color world, which is makeup, the skin world, and then fragrance world. I think that was like my first passion, was like special effects and like creative makeup. Once I realized like, you know, I could really do this, I went to go find professional teaching.
So what would you say is probably like the most difficult thing to learn for makeup?
I would just say maybe like,
to start off, kind of want to ask how your day's been so far. I know you did a couple shoots or you had some work. How was that?
it's so crazy, you guys. Like, when you're creative, I kind of vlog my day sometimes. I just need to be better about posting it. But for example, I got up this morning. I was up since 9, went to work, got to work early at 10. Oh, found out it's a Sunday, so I had to go back. The store doesn't open till 11.
Damn.
So I was like, you know what? Let me chill. Let me have a relaxed night. Ever since I came back from New York Fashion Week, I feel like you got to plan 15 and 30 above your early schedule.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the trains might, you know,
True.
someone might be
Right.
fast out on the train or whatever the case is. So, like, I've been planning earlier.
Yeah.
So I went home, got coffee, enjoyed myself, fed the dogs, went to work, and then I went to go do a photo shoot. So I'm coming from a photo shoot.
Dang, you do
Yeah.
so much in a day, I swear.
Yeah.
Like, we could just have a whole podcast about your life in a week. Like, it would be an hour long.
Yeah,
Right.
totally. What about you guys?
You said you just got back from Fashion Week, New York. How was that? What was that
Yes.
experience like?
Life-changing. New York Fashion Week is always one for the books. Not only are you, like, in the capital of the fashion industry, but there's just so much going on with, you know, shows, models, casting, auditions. It's literally like that meme from Lady Gaga. Bus, club,
No,
another club,
literally.
flight, club, train, another club.
That's funny. What did you have like a designer you walked for? Did you do makeup or what was the premise for going there?
I almost was going to get into doing makeup for Art Hearts, but I decided just to focus on one avenue, you know? I had been invited with a designer called Fox 5, and she was doing a show called Beautiful You Tour. But because of another friend from Hawaii, she's like, oh, you're going to be in New York Fashion Week? Let me, you know, connect you with another designer.
Sick.
And so I got to walk for High Tech Moda. And I met two really amazing designers, Suave Suits and Victoria Amberson. Amberson or
Nice.
Averson, yeah. Two suits. I love suits.
Okay,
Nice.
so take us back a little bit to get started about you. Like, how did you get started in fashion in general in the industry? I know you're a professional MUA. You do a lot of things. You should, I feel, honestly, how would you like to define yourself? Like,
I need a little
introduce
intro.
yourself. Yeah, like
True.
I want to know, like, what you would define yourself as with the title, and then also, like, okay, what started first? Like, out of all those titles, what started first, and how did it blossom into who you are as an entity now?
Yes. So for all of you that don't know me, I'm Edwin Lunes. I am a indigenous male model, a makeup artist, a fragrance specialist. I do some model coaching here and there, and then creative direction.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, and that follows like some styling, some set design, some pageant. What's it called? I've been a pageant judge a lot of
Okay.
times. I was in a pageant at once in my life. But I would say it all started when I was really young. I was fit, and then I got into elementary school. I was born in Texas. I lived
Okay.
in Mexico till I was 6.
Okay.
So I always said I'm not from here or nor there, somewhere in between, you know, because I grew up with more of a Mexican culture. When I came to the U.S., I gained more weight in middle school. Because of, you know, just the food system and the cafeteria food. So really, I think it started when I started my fitness journey in elementary.
Okay.
I just was like on a journey
Wow.
of like self-love. Literally, like I would work out every day, take apple cider vinegar.
In elementary school?
Yes,
sixth
because
grade? Like-
the doctor had told my mom, like, your son has too much sodium. Like, he needs to take aspirins or something.
My
my
God.
blood was, I don't know, my blood pressure was high or something.
Yeah.
So I just was like, what is a holistic?
This is in elementary. You're looking this up.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what. Like,
This
in,
is
like,
crazy.
yeah, I was like probably like in 5th grade, going on to 6 or
Okay.
something.
Wow.
Dang.
So that was like my first little fitness journey / self-love. Then from there, I which is I was just in a lot of quinceañeras.
Okay.
For some reason, I had a lot of friends that were in quinceañeras. I was tall. Had my growth spurt, so people just kept asking me like, "Do you want to be a chambelan? Do you want to be a chambelan?" First, it was like friends and then cousins, and then it just started happening more often, until the same tuxedo designer was like, they already knew my measurements, so they're like, "Hey, do you want to do a fashion expo?"
No way.
For tuxedo rentals and quinceañera, like a quinceañera expo.
Okay.
What?
So I was like, yeah, sure, like why not? And
How
then
old are you when this is happening?
I was probably like 14.
Wow.
Or like 13.
Yeah, quinceañera, that's like 9th
Right.
grade, 10th grade
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing.
totally.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
13, 14, around there.
That's crazy.
And that was like my first start into modeling, literally being in like
Dang.
expos. And they would pay me a little bit at the time. I think
Okay.
like $40 or something back then. But when you're 14, that's
No,
a lot of money.
That's a lot, yeah.
So then from that expo, I got connected to a modeling academy, and they're still around actually. It's called Osea, Osea Agency and Modeling. And through them, I had really amazing teachers. Like I had a teacher who was all experienced in like fashion and like silhouettes and your body type and like textures and
Oh, wow.
you know where fashion fits in your life and how to apply it. And then another teacher was all about etiquette and body language and posing and how to look good on camera. And then the photographer who kind of taught more of like the classic modeling, like runway, posing, facial expressions, that sort of thing. In that academy, I did a lot of music videos too.
Okay.
Yeah, they would put us like, for some reason, I was always like the ex or like the secret lover.
Right.
What works out is like I always looked older than what I am.
Okay.
So now that I'm really older, people think I'm younger. So I'm like, that's great.
Right.
Right.
Because you were tall or just in general? You felt
Yeah,
like-
because I was tall and like
Yeah.
I feel like I've always just had like the same face shape or facial features.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. And so from there, I then went to like 2 different modeling schools.
Wow.
I
okay.
followed the teacher that left. He's amazing. His name's Victor Navarro. He's still in the industry. He does a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got to modeling school, and how was that experience?
Amazing. I had done a lot of like, when I was in my younger teens, I did like a summer camp one time, and like that got me on my show because I'm a Cancer. So I was introverted at first, and then extroverted, and now I'm really extroverted. But in the modeling school, it really taught me like presence, self-assurance, self-confidence, self-love, like how to ace an interview, you know, how to walk in a room and like
These are amazing skills, like so young.
Early on,
too.
yeah.
And like from there it was just like self-development. A lot of self-development goes into modeling, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
I think nowadays a lot of models just want to mug and like pose.
Right.
But if you don't have the energy and confidence to pose, at the end of the day, it's just a pose. Like you're still being watched from the moment you enter the room to when you walk out the room or when you leave the runway.
And like
Right.
I think a big piece of that is Instagram modeling versus real modeling. You know, that's where like the big difference is. And like, how would you kind of describe those differences of someone who actually knows how to model as like runway or like commercial and stuff versus just like an Instagram model?
Very day and night. I feel like I've had both models because I do influencing on the side. So I do content creation, another job I didn't mention.
1, 2, 3.
So many skills, right? He's got his 7 points of income, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
One is very much like, so for real runway models, like, you know, it's a job, you know, it's a career, like you do this like for a living, like it's getting your model bag ready, it's getting a comp card ready, which is like your business card, as opposed to more Instagram modeling. It's a little bit more of like, what can I project? What can I show? What can I sell you? Like, what lifestyle am I trying to embody?
Gotcha.
It's a little bit more superficial because it looks great on camera, but then like what's happening behind the scenes?
Right. Like what is your energy actually like when you're physically like meeting someone versus like online? It's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to modeling school, you're in your teens, and then take us through how you got into the beauty industry, like your makeup artist side, your fragrance side. Like how did that begin? And how old were you when that began?
So in the same modeling school that I went to, they taught us a little bit of like skincare and like self-care.
Okay.
What I loved about the classes is like they would bring specialists in. So a long time ago, now it's really advanced and I see it all the time, but they had this machine and you would put your face in it and like cover it like if you were like under the curtain, and it would scan you to see like what age is your skin, if you have bacteria or acne, like
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like a skin analysis
Yeah.
before there was a thing. So they gave us one of those, and they gave us like an auto makeup class. So I just felt very like confident being able to cover my acne, and I was like, okay, like I got this. You know, like brush your brows, tame your hair. You know, just like a good model face. So I knew how to do that early on, and then when I was maybe like a junior. I just really loved special effects.
Okay.
I think that was like my first passion was like special effects and like creative makeup. I had done it for like 4 friends, and then the next Halloween, those 4 friends told 4 other friends, and so I was like booked like for the first 2 Halloweens that I did special effects makeup.
Wow, so you were like 16 maybe at this time?
Yeah,
16.
16. I did like
And you were already
crazy,
getting
like
you were already getting paid.
like if I pull up the photos, it was like crazy, gory, like American Horror Story type of like makeup. Like
Dang.
I
That's
got
sick.
down with like making my own potions and like my
Dang.
own like silicone face like cutouts.
What?
And this was all like just what you've been doing for other people. Were you posting any of this to social media?
Oh
at that
yeah,
time?
yeah. At the time,
Oh,
like
okay.
I was like posting on Instagram, and
Yeah,
like it was
okay,
kind of
okay.
popping off a little bit. So like everyone kind of knew in school that like, oh, like he's kind of scary during Halloween. One day I came in like, if anybody knows Zombie Boy, that model where his face is all tattooed like a skull. I had done that look in school. It was like from American Horror Story.
Oh my
And so everybody's like,
gosh.
oh damn, like he really does this. And so the
Dang.
3rd year I did it, the theater teacher came up to me. And so the theater teacher came up to me and she's like, hey, like, do you know how to do makeup for like a vampire or a werewolf? I was like, yeah, like that's simple. Like if I'm doing special effects, you know, a little
Right.
shading and blood is super easy. She's like, would you like to do it for the theater? I was like, wow, yeah, like I would love the
Dude.
opportunity.
That's
but
awesome.
How
Do I have
often
enough-
did you practice at that time?
well, I had told the lady like, do I have enough material for like 13 kids? No. She's like, don't worry, like we'll cover the material, but you know, just be here for
Okay.
rehearsal and the day of. So I was like my first
Wow.
amateur gig in high school. They got me makeup for the theater. So
Dang.
it was like Twilight era, so we did vampires and werewolves.
That's so cool.
Dude, and like how long did it take you to start getting the hang of what you were doing? Like at first, did you kind of have trouble with making the look that you wanted? And then like how long did it take until you were like getting that look right?
A little bit, yeah. It was a lot of like long nights just doing it in the bathroom, you know, just to get it right. So I would probably practice like a month before Halloween just to start getting looks in.
Sure.
And then after that, just like YouTube videos was like YouTube University was my thing.
Yes.
Until I finally got like that gig was like my first gig working on other people. So I got to like experience like different face shapes or like molding the face differently or you know, some people were oilier skin than me, so I had to prep a little bit more powder and such things.
Interesting.
So that
Okay.
was like my first amateur gig. Maybe like a year later, I did a fashion show in fabric at Tempe.
Okay.
And this was before when they barely had opened. So downstairs they had like a green room.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget, I was doing makeup for a really good friend of mine. Her name is Monica. Her company used to be called Abbasi Design. She was Moroccan. She's like an auntie now. But we're all waiting for hair and makeup. We're downstairs. There was like a beauty team from a school that was supposed to come. They don't come basically.
Dang.
The lady Johnson comes down there and she's like, I'm sorry you guys, like hair and makeup's not coming. There's probably like 2 hours before the show starts. So everybody's kind of freaking out a little
What?
bit. Everyone just starts beating their face as fast as it can. And I had looked at the girl next to me. She didn't know anything, but she had brought some of her basic makeup like concealer, foundation, mascara, little things like that. And I'm like, well, like, I don't know how to do your eyeshadow or like put on your lipstick, but I mean, if you need to cover your acne and cover your dark circles, like I could do that for you. She's like, yes, please. So I do her makeup. And then Monica comes around and she was one of her models. And she's like, who did her face? Who did her face? And I was like, oh, maybe I
you
like messed it
fucked
up.
it
You know,
up.
I effed it up. I was like, I did it. And she's like, you did this? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I love it. Can you do mine? And Miss Monica was like a deep golden rich woman. So like I'm obviously a lot more light, medium olive. So I was like, I mean, like I can make it work, but I don't know if my color would look good on you. It would look maybe a little bit ashy. Because I had a concept of undertones, but I wasn't like pro yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, don't worry. She's like, I have everything. And since she was a woman of color, she had like 3 foundations, 3 blushes, 3 bronzers, because there wasn't a lot of inclusion at the time.
Yeah.
So I really like got to do my own mix on there. And she's like, I
Dang.
love it. You're booked next month. And I was like, booked for what? And she's like, she's like, you're booked to be my makeup artist next month. I was like, what? So
That's
literally in that
crazy.
That is
1 month
so
time
cool.
frame, I was like practicing with my sister, practicing all night, like watching so many YouTube videos until I had like a little basic kit with like maybe like NYX and like some drugstore makeup. And that was like my first like paid gig.
Dang. Did you ever get nervous at any point during those things? How did you like overcome that? Basically, if you were nervous or something, how did you kind of just know, like, all right, I got this, you know?
I've always been an individual who's very hands-on, and like that's always gonna be like what I preach. Like, just go for it, practice. Like, have a mindset of like what you're getting into, but like just practice it. So I was like, I mean, there's no other thing to do but throw the eyeliner on, you know. I did have a model who was Arabic. I love her, and she was like, I like smoky eyeliner, Edwin. I was like, okay, cool. Like, how do I do that? She's like, you know, we're gonna do this kajal and like we're gonna smoke it out. And so I did something. She's like, no, like you need to go out. It needs to be thick. So I was like, I'm gonna watch you do it, and then I'll do the other eye. So she kind of taught me like a quick little smoky liner at the moment.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you were booked out from, you know, the connection that you had made. And then from there, like, how did that transcend into doing like professional makeup for more like major brands? Because I know you've worked for major brands on the makeup side. So how did that happen?
From that point, I realized like I actually do like this, and really what I love is just empowering people. So whether you're 15, whether you're a guy or a 90-year-old, I just want you to feel like the most confident in your own skin and your own features and your own natural beauty. When I was growing up, I literally put on like makeup to cover it because I had acne. So it was more like I was kind of hiding behind it. But now like my philosophy is like I wanted to be your skin but better. So once I realized like, you know, I could really do this, I went to go find professional teaching. So from that point, I went to look for like as many courses as I could. I took like a mini online course, but then I found a company called Glam Lab Makeup Studios. And I just kept seeing their stuff on Facebook. At the time, Facebook ads were really big. So I was like, I'm gonna just reach out. Like, why not? I take the class. I end up loving it. I go up to the teacher after the class. It was like an 8-hour course in one day. So you like learn everything,
That's crazy.
like skin prep, like color, foundation, brows, lips, contour, like all the things. And I go up to the teacher and I was like, I love what you do. Like, how do you do what you do? She's like, well, we actually have an internship program.
This is the way your life goes. I swear to God. Keep going. This is why you're...
So she's like
doing like all the things like to connect with the people who are actually doing it.
Yeah, like I went up to her and I was
amazing.
like, I love what you do. Like, how can I be you?
You put yourself out there, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like,
literally.
well, we have an internship program. You know, you would apply for the internship and then you get the job after that, depending on your internship. And I was like, internship? At this time, I was like 19, and I've always had 2 jobs since I was like 16. I have 5 currently. Like, so I was like, internship?
Right.
Like, the concept of like doing a job and not getting paid for was
Right.
ridiculous to me. Like, what do you mean internship? And she's like, yeah, like you would apply, you do the internship 3 times, and then we would see. And I was like, so like I'm working 3 days for free? Like, what do you mean?
Right. No,
Like, what are you
literally.
talking about? Like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, so it's crazy how things work out, you guys, because I honestly was not going to do it. I was like 3 days of like no work. This is crazy. It was like a long Saturday. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go for it. Like, I mean, the worst thing that could happen, I won't like it the second or third time. And I'll get what I get out of it.
Right.
And it's crazy. Like, literally, it's crazy how things happen. Like, the universe will manifest how it wants you to manifest. So I show up to the first class. Basically, the way the setup is, you're the teacher, you instruct, and you teach. And then you have assistant instructor. Your assistant instructor is your model. And then they're also the one in charge of the shop because they would sell makeup there.
Okay.
They would sell like basically the materials we needed for the class, unless you brought your own brushes and you brought your own kit. Okay. But they had like a foundation palette, a blush palette, an eyeshadow palette, and then brushes. Okay. And like other skin prep stuff. So the assistant had all that stuff. I guess one week the teacher would take it, the next week the assistant would take it. That assistant had only worked there for like 4 shifts.
Dang.
And so the day I get there early, I'm prepared. She's nowhere to be seen. So she's like calling her. I guess she got into a car accident. She's not coming in. And she's like, no, you need to come in. Like, it's a liability at this point because you have all the material. Like, without the material, we can't do a class.
Oh my God.
So I guess she sends her husband to come drop off the material. And he drops it off in the class. And the teacher, like, looks at me and she's like, I'm sorry, but, like, you have to be the model and the assistant instructor. I was like, oh. Okay, she's like, so I'm gonna do like a full beat on you, and like I'm not someone that wears a full beat. Like I just like a little bronzer, good brows. Like this is the most I have on. So I was like, all right. So I was the model. She did the whole makeup. I helped out with the class. I helped out with invoices. So I kind of got the gist of like running your own shop. Yeah. It was like a pop-up shop basically nowadays is what we would call it. And she's like, I'm sorry, there's just like no way you're not hired. Like I'm gonna just tell the boss you're hired. And I had like a kind of like a strict Turkish lady as a boss. But she's like, all right, like if you say so, like he's hired.
Wow.
And then I got hired to be with the company. I was with the company for a while. Like I want to say like 1.5 years. And from being an assistant instructor. I then became an instructor and taught Spanish. So I was one of the first teachers teaching Spanish in the market.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. And then we added more people into the company. And then they just kind of like dissipated. I think this was happening right before COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably got tough. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
businesses kind of shut down during that time.
Yeah, and at that time I had applied to Sephora too. So then at the start of me getting into this like makeup educator course, I was also going into like retail and makeup.
That's sick.
Okay.
So how did you start finding out like your value? Because you were saying when she told you about that workshop that you didn't want to do it for free. When did that come where you were like I know my value and I know what I can charge for something like that? How did you get to that point of like knowing what to charge people for your work?
So what I did like about the class is like they don't just teach you a course. They taught you like, okay, after the class, do 10 faces, and then from those 10 faces, you'll do it for free, and then from there, like you can find a booking. And they kind of taught you a little bit of your business, like make a business card, make a portfolio. At the time, they were like apply to makeup brands as a pro discount. So like I kind of got the gist of like, oh, I should probably be charging for this. The thing is, I already knew my value for going into the company, so it was that's why I kind of felt put off to be an intern. But then I realized like if I do this internship, I'm gonna gain more than what I would be doing getting paid.
Right.
Because I was getting education and experience, and you just really have to look at the value of things. I feel like if you're more experienced in the job or the collaboration or the opportunity, maybe you gotta like reevaluate your boundaries and what to charge or what not to charge. Or maybe I'll do half a face or one face, not 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Certain
Okay.
things like that. But if the opportunity is bigger than you and you haven't done anything like that, then maybe that's when you want to collaborate, intern, or just apply it wherever you can, assisting
That makes
or
sense.
whatever the case is.
So talk us through like what was a normal day like for you working at Sephora, like as a professional makeup artist, just for those that are interested in maybe getting into something like that or working in retail on the makeup side.
Yeah. So a normal day, I'll talk about a normal day there, and then I'll talk about a normal day in my life now. 'Cause
Okay.
I've gone a little bit up the ladder.
Yes.
So maybe like when you're first a freelancer, or when you're first a beauty retailer specialist, you go in, you clock in, you do trainings at Sephora every day, so that's really cool.
Okay.
Like I do love that company is really big on like personal life balance and education. So
Nice.
every day you train and you learn something new.
That's really
Okay,
cool.
I didn't even know
Sometimes in
that.
that training you get something free. So like if you train about a hairspray, you'll get that hairspray. So they have a really cool system like that where you can speak from experience, or
That's dope.
if you really love something, it's because like I love this and I tried it and that's why I'm recommending it.
Right.
And then you would go out on the floor, and around that time you had to wear like a coat or a special uniform. And it was called like the stage.
Okay.
So when you're behind like in the operation place, you're like backstage, and when you go on the floor, you're on the stage.
Interesting.
And then you would be in different worlds. So there was like the color world, which is makeup, the skin world, and then fragrance world.
Okay.
Now I
Okay.
think there's just sections. Like you're just like section 1, 2, 3, and you would operate in that world until they switched you out.
Okay.
So if I was helping you with the foundation match or like a primer, and then you were like, I need hairspray, I would pass you off to someone else. Unless you like
Interesting,
loved my
okay.
service and you're like, Edwin's the bomb, like Edwin needs to help me, then I'd go over there with you.
Right.
But most of the time, the managers are just having your section, unless you were like cashier or manager. But mainly, like those were like the 3 roles. I was seasonal at Sephora, and I was planning on moving to Fashion Square, which is a flagship store. But Fashion Square gave me the green light, but Arrowhead was like, nah, like we want to keep you here.
Dang.
So
Dang.
ultimately, like my career at Sephora ended after that, because I was like, I don't want to be at Arrowhead. I want to be at the flagship store.
What does flagship mean?
Flagship means it's like the home base.
Got you. Okay.
So
Okay.
that Sephora at Fashion Square is the home base. So that's where they have like new drops, maybe like
Got you.
Makes sense.
for example, like next week I'm with Milk Makeup. We're having, since that's a flagship store, we're having an activation there. So we're gonna have like a Milk Makeup coffee cart.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Milk and then coffee. So
Yes.
like because it is a flagship store, they'll get first drops, or if a new brand comes into Sephora, they'll go there first.
Got you. Okay.
And then the rest of the old Sephoras, it just depends on like volume and like what sells. But now my day is, since I've gone up the ladder, I now work with the brand. So I work with the brand, and wherever the brand sells, I'm there. So I'll go to
Okay.
Ulta, I'll go to Nordstrom, I'll go to Dillard's, I'll go to Sephora. Wherever the brand goes, I'll go with them.
Okay.
And I'm just like a beauty specialist, brand representative, basically, with one company.
Got you.
Nice.
Okay.
So how, like during this time, were you also doing runway? So how did like the makeup aspect of it, like did that kind of integrate a little bit with the runway modeling? Like did you kind of see makeup a little bit differently whenever you did makeup, or
Oh,
was there
yeah.
anything like that?
It's crazy. Every model's been in this point. Like, there's times where you just sit in the chair and you're expecting like your skin but better. You're looking for your best, and then you come out looking orange. You come out looking chopped. You come out looking like a whole nother person but yourself. So I really had learned modeling makeup, like HD makeup, out of necessity. I was in a fashion week once, and it was like my first fashion week at the time, and I was like, oh, like everyone's a professional here. Like, I'm sure they're all gonna make me look my best. I did not look my best. I looked
No
anything
way.
but my natural skin tone.
Dang.
So after that, I was like, all right, like I just need to come ready. Like, I know there's hair and makeup involved, and like definitely for anyone listening out there, like if your designer wants you to look a certain type of way, like follow your designer. They're obviously there for a reason, and that's their vision. But as myself as a professional, like I know what looks best on me. So you always want to give yourself, upgrade yourself to.
You kind of have like things ready, like different makeups that that you're like works with your skin and all that. You already have that all set.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like every model should have at least like foundation, concealer, powder, and like bronzer, or if you're a girl, blush. Like it's just a must. Like those are just gonna be the essentials so you like look good on camera. And even when guys weren't like as experienced in makeup, so they'd be like, you're doing your own face. I'm like, yeah, but like your favorite actor, Johnny Depp, wears makeup, or Cristiano Ronaldo, or even Tyga. Like I follow Tyga's makeup artist, and it's men's grooming, and like he'll never repost it, but she's posting him all the time.
Right.
So it's very much like a thing in the industry. And ever since, they've always gone hand in hand for me. Like I've always done the same around the same time. But just always showing up ready, always coming ready, prepared. My grandma always taught me like you want to have a fresh cut, shine shoes.
Right.
And my mom grew up in the classic corporate world where like she had to wear red heels, red lip, like full face, hair done. So I think it was just instilled in me like you should not walk out the house in PJs unless you're running to the store,
Yeah.
And even then, like I think my teacher traumatized me because I had a teacher who always say, like, you need to be ready at all times. Like you never know when someone might book you, or if you turn around and there's a casting agent. Like you just need to be ready all the time.
That's
It's
literally
so
what
true.
Colleen said on her podcast
I
too.
said the same thing because you are a walking billboard, and especially when you're in an industry that, yes, has to do with your physical appearance, you never know who you're going to meet and where. And so I just feel like that is such a good point to drive home with anyone. Like, not to say you have to do a full B and like get fully fitted to go to the grocery store necessarily, though. Like, there is benefits to potentially doing that because you're also just from a universe perspective, I feel like you also are attracting a lot different energy when you put yourself together like that, and you are presenting yourself as your future self at all times. So I just feel like it's really powerful. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a deep question for the audience. It's not deep, but it's just like tea, basically. So what do you do in a situation where you don't like your makeup? Like, what advice would you give a model that gets off the chair and looks at their face and realizes like it's not like a vision specifically for the designer. Let's X that out. It's just completely like their complexion is off. Like, how would you recommend one, they speak up? Do they speak up? Like, have you learned over time what works best in those circumstances? Because you have so much experience both as a model and as a professional makeup artist. Like, what would be the best way to go about that situation?
Yes. First is recognizing what the issue is, because apart from me being in the chair, I've also had clients be like, oh, I don't love this. So
Right.
like, okay, what don't we love? Is it the color? Is it the shape? Is it the intensity? Should we soften something? So if I was the model, like the first thing I would do is maybe ask the makeup artist, like, hey, like maybe this is too dark. Can we soften it? Or my brow looks a little blocky. Can you brush it out? Because they're the one ultimately making you leave the chair. So they're kind of like in a position of responsibility for you. Always checking in with that first. And if maybe like they're not at the capacity that of the professionalism that you need to, then maybe like taking a step back, seeing what you have in your toolbox and just kind of fixing what you can from there. It's always better to fix what you have on than to start over.
Right.
Because it's most of the time it's still savable. But in the case that it's not, it's just having to restart. It's just makeup at the end of the day. You could always wipe it off. It's not a tattoo. So I always tell that to people.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then if I have a client, like I'll ask them, like, what don't you love? Like, show me an example of what you love or what you don't love.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes clients, they think they know what they're trying to communicate, and they may not be communicating what they're trying to communicate properly, right? It's like, oh, I just hate everything. It's like, okay, well, what is it specifically, so we can really get down to it and we could fix it, or you know what I mean? We can resolve it or like something along those lines. So
Right, because
that's
you
good
might love
advice.
your skin, but you hate the colors on the face. So maybe like we could change that, or you know, it just depends on undertone really. Like, if I know I look good in like a baby pink, I'm not gonna wear a dark pink. So it's also about understanding like your color theory, your face, your shape, like making it best to your unique features.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've personally have had Edwin do my makeup before, and I just look like literally like myself still, but angelic. Like my skin has never looked better. I'm like, wow, I look like a filter in real life right now. You just have so much knowledge, like even just what you just mentioned with the undertones and the colors, and that's all through your experience, like all the things you've just talked about. It's all through the amount of years you've learned all these things, you know?
And it's just practice really. Like once it's funny because I first did art before I did makeup. So before I really got into
So you're a
special
painter,
effects,
an artist too.
yeah, like I mean, yeah, but amateur, you know, like I did
No,
art.
but I think all makeup artists are artists, you know?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
in the principles of art, it's just light and shadow, you know? I would always look scary if I look like this, but if I let the light hit me, it's more pleasing to the eye. So it's also, and you know, as a photographer, like you have to work with light and shadows.
Yeah.
Sometimes the picture's great, it's just a little low contrast. You got to bring up the saturation or the color or the contrast.
Yeah.
So if you apply those same rules to makeup, it all makes so much sense, you know?
Gotcha. So when it comes to runway, you've done a lot of runways from like small ones to like major ones. What would you say is the difference like behind the scenes when it comes to like a small show compared to like a high production show?
Yeah, I love this question because I often will do like community service, and a lot of times there'll be like fundraiser shows, and like those are very heartwarming. Like you have a lot of true connections with people, and they could be smaller, but they're more intimate. So you have more time to like connect with the designer, like understand like, you know, the people around you, the designs, and it all goes towards a good cause. Or sometimes too, like it's a small show and like there could be someone so talented, they just don't have all the marketing or all the money or all the best fabrics in the world, but their talent's there. So I often say like some of the most talented people are on the streets. Like I always say like the real runways are the streets, because money and fame and all that doesn't always accumulate to artistry or talent.
Oh yeah.
You know, like we all know the most famous model, but are they the most talented?
Right.
And we all know a really talented model, but they might not be the most known. But I love a big production as well because, like, I mean, the lights are there, the stage is there, the music is there. There's intermissions that happen that are super amazing. Like the last show I was in New York, they brought out two violinists.
That's so cool.
I was like, wow, is this Bridgerton?
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. So they started the show with the violinist. We walked, they finished the song, and then another runway went on.
Wow.
So you get best of both worlds. I think when you start doing more bigger productions, you don't want to do the smaller ones, but a lot of times there's a lot of like great photos or great talent in the smaller productions.
Yeah, I feel like that's something really cool about you is you do still do a lot of like work in the smaller productions because like you said, like there's so much talent in those spaces. So that's super cool.
How do you deal with the pressure? Like, is there more pressure when it comes to like the big shows? Because of course, like those designers or whoever is telling you, or does someone tell you exactly how to do the makeup? Or for those like bigger productions, do you kind of come up with like what the designers wants and then you kind of come up with your own look? Like, how does that kind of work?
Before I get into that question, I always say like your connections and your experience is everything, because from small designers that I've walked with in one show, there's a lady named Sharita, and she's in LA and she just did like the Grammys.
That's amazing.
And like you never know where that small designer or that small talent could go to. But with the pressure, we all deal with a little bit of pressure backstage. I've been a makeup artist who has just been on the team, but I've also been a key makeup artist. So as a key makeup artist, I ensure that everyone is following the same protocol for that designer. So if that designer wants red eyeshadow on everybody, I have to make sure every makeup artist is doing that for the model.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there sometimes will be a protocol put in place. Sometimes as the key makeup artist, I haven't seen every show do this, but typically like we'll meet an hour before and we'll follow protocol. So I'm like, okay, if I'm doing a glowy look on this model, these are the steps to do the glowy look.
Okay.
Not
protocol being you're teaching how to do it. Okay.
Protocol.
Okay.
Yeah, like if us three were going to go do business, I'm gonna show you all three how to get that look, and then we'll all kind of follow protocol. You don't always have to do the same steps.
Okay.
There's many steps to achieve the same result.
Yeah.
But typically, like we all want the same finished look.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Gotcha. Was that tough? Like doing that for the first time, like managing everybody, you know, every single person. How did you have like a checklist, or how did you keep intact with like everybody and make sure everybody was doing well?
Priority first, you know, first runways come first. So like first 3 designers come first. You got to get those models out first, then worry about the last. Cause like there's no point in doing the last makeup on those people when you still have to get ready. So many other people.
Yeah.
It is a little bit stressful because I'm a Virgo rising. So like I like to be independent and have control in my own things. But when you're letting other people have control, then you have to give yourself leeway for them to explore and get creative, you know?
Yeah, I'm
Because
the
like I
same
know I
way,
can
too.
execute something, but can I pass you the baton so you can execute it?
Right.
And you have to, you know, let that person have the baton. Sometimes you can hold it back and help them out, but ultimately it's their race.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the experience we had in 2021 with the On Central. We have to talk about this. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
With the On Central show? So this is what happened. So it was very quick changes that were happening, and the whole show was underneath a parking garage. And I bring this up because it just shows how great Edwin is, just as a person, as a professional. But basically, the long story short was the designer prior to me had like a way different vision than I did. And my vision was actually very similar to what I'm wearing tonight. It was very neutral, muted, like chic. It was very classy. And the designer prior to me, very edgy. Like there were spikes on models' faces, right? So long story short, I had realized that a lot of my models were walking for that designer before walking for me. And I was like, oh no. I'm going to have to take off the spikes on these models' faces, and I'm going to do all this in 2 minutes. Like,
No way.
and so,
Literally, they came out with like smoky eyes, like
Yes.
piercings everywhere, like the
Yes.
craziest opposite look of what CQ was doing that day.
Really?
It was
Like
crazy.
green and neon, like crazy.
It was
like,
crazy. And so, literally, I remember being like, where is Edwin? Because I knew you were MUA, and I also knew that you were a model in the show. And there's like video content of me running back and forth from you to my models, and you just like beating all these faces, trying to fix, like trying to like in the amount of, it was a quick change. It was crazy. And you were just so helpful and so professional under pressure. And I'll never forget that. I was so grateful for you in those moments, because I was not at, like, most of those photos, the BTS photos, are me doing makeup.
Yeah, and she was, you know, like you were styling that day. Like
Yeah,
it was
I was-
totally not your position.
No, I did not know
And
what I was
me
doing.
and CQ weren't like, we knew each other, but we weren't like
Right.
super close as we
No,
are
we
now. So
weren't.
like I was like, she needs help, and there's no one to help her. And I was like probably the only MUA downstairs.
You
'cause,
were.
the
You
MUAs
were.
were like nowhere to be found.
Yes. Because I feel like that's something we should talk about. I feel like MUA and hairstylists, a lot of the time in shows, they don't stay for the show or the production.
And typically, like when I was in New York, they stayed till almost the last show.
Really?
The reason
That's
being, like,
interesting.
same thing. So if the models were to come back and they're walking for someone else, who's gonna fix them?
Right.
At one
That's
point,
true.
I walked for another designer because his model had like a smoked out black cloud, and his designer was like, "You cannot go anywhere until it's time to go to the runway. So like you have to stay in this room till it's the runway." So he
Dang.
didn't have time to fit the day of, and then coming back from the show, he just wasn't gonna have time to walk.
Dang.
So, but at that point, they had MUAs there,
Okay.
and everyone got fixed to the next show.
Mm.
Typically, like if we had a full production, like maybe like 4 makeup artists would stay out of the 15 or whatever to do touch-ups.
What?
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question.
And it's funny because that time I was only going to do makeup for an older lady named Patsy. I love her. She was like she's like a 65-year-old lady, and she's one of the how can I say? I think her husband was the one of the first mayors here in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
But she does amazing collections, and I was just really her MUA.
Okay.
So I just brought a small little kit for her and like 1 or 2 other models.
And that was like my question, really. That was really feeding into what I was going to ask you is when you're in those situations where maybe you're seated as a model, right? You're there to be a model. You're there to walk the runway. When do you make a decision in your brain to share? If you see like MUA struggling around you and you're sitting there as a model, that's the role you're playing. When do you either like, do you step in? Do you mention you're an MUA? When is the appropriate time if you realize you could help a situation?
It's so
You know what I
hard, you
mean?
guys.
That's a
I
good
think
question, yeah.
still to this day I kind of go back and forth because if you booked me as a model, like you booked me as a model, point blank period. You know,
Right.
I shouldn't overextend myself.
Right.
But then I also am an entrepreneur and I am a makeup artist, and like who's gonna promote me but myself?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of times where like I just have to ask myself like, is it the right moment to step in? Because there are times where, you know, I shouldn't step in.
Yeah.
And I should just let that run its course. Because, I mean, if you're an employee you're not going to do manager position things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I kind of think of it like that. Like, why going to be doing the manager's job and not get paid the manager's job?
Yes.
Not that it's about payment, but it's just about, like, principles of the show.
Yes.
the
You
role
know,
that
like,
you're
if
into.
you're the owner and you hired her as the assistant, why am I going to go over her head? You're going to get mad at me.
Yeah.
Unless, like this last show I was in, with Evolution Runway. I personally knew the model director. So she told me, like, I'm going to be low on MUAs because a lot of the school was leaving. And so I let her know, like, hey, like, I want to just go as a model, but if you need me, I'll support you. Because, like, I know you like that. So if you need me to come in as MUA, I'll come in as an MUA. So I brought my kit. So, like, I feel like you'll sense it when it's time because, like, you'll feel that pull.
Yeah.
But there's times where, like, I don't know the situation and it's kind of intense. And I'm kind of like... I kind of feel like standoffish energy, so I'm like, maybe let me just shut up and do my job, my main job, you know.
What's like? So you said you were in New York. Have you been to any other states for runways or makeup or anything like that?
Oh yeah. So 2 other worlds of modeling is modeling like runway and then modeling for pageantry. So around the same time before I became an instructor, I had the opportunity to be in a pageant. Basically, it's so crazy how things worked out. I had an ex-girlfriend, and her cousin who lives in New Mexico was in this pageant. And we were friends before I had dated her cousin. My mom was basically like her godmother.
Okay.
And it's so crazy because they knew each other from Mexico. And so they're from the same town in Chihuahua. And long story short, so me and my ex-girlfriend's cousin were friends on Facebook. One of her friends sees something and was like, oh, you know a male model? So she asked me, hey, would you like to be a model in this pageant? I was like, I don't know. I haven't really done a pageant. Like, runway is very much dead in the face, no expression. You're a hanger, the clothes.
Yeah.
Pageant is very much like, hello, I'm Edwin. Would love to introduce myself. Love me. Like, you know, very charismatic, a lot of personality, a lot of showman.
Yeah.
And so they asked me, would you like to apply? I applied. And it's crazy because I almost didn't do the show, but had a really good friend named Taylor who drove me to New Mexico because I just couldn't find travel for some reason.
Yeah.
Flights were all booked and like the bus was not going to work out. So he literally drove me. We both worked at Subway and he literally drove me to New Mexico.
What?
And like I gave him gas money. I gave him like my check that time.
Yeah.
And so I stayed with some family, did the show. And I just did it for like the experience of it. I ended up winning the pageant.
Bro.
What? No way.
Like, it's so crazy. So I was representing Arizona. I was Mr. Arizona. I won the pageant. So I was like Mr. Teen Latino Arizona.
How old were you at this time?
I was like, I think I had just turned 18.
Okay, yeah.
I think I had just turned 18. I was like not even a senior in high school yet. And so I did the pageant. I won. And then I became Mr. Teen Latino USA. Because from it being regional, I then went to go compete internationally.
That's
so
crazy.
This was like my first time modeling out of state, which was New Mexico. And then probably like 6 months later, I got the opportunity to go model in Mexico. The year before that was Brazil. Would have loved to go to Brazil. But they did in Mexico, so it was actually even better because it was closer. And luckily, I had a cousin living in that town in Mexico where it was at. So that was like my first out-of-state modeling. And it was like a whole nother experience. Like, modeling changes a lot depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
Like, what I love about being in New York, we had a lot of winter and layering fashion. I've also modeled in Miami, and it's very much tropical and colorful and fun, and like linen and cotton, a lot of different materials. But I've modeled in Mexico, I've modeled in Miami, LA, Vegas, San Diego is probably my other favorite too. San Diego Fashion Fest is a great production.
No, that's crazy. I mean, there was just so much work that you put in because you said that you had already done all the makeup stuff and that was workshops since you were 14. So I'm sure like all that experience also helped you with, I mean, because with pageants, you have a lot of questions and like really have to tell your personality. So you had already worked on that for like 4 years prior to that. So
I had to learn like a talent a year. I did my talent portion because you do like a whole pageant.
Talent?
So it was like you do questions, you do swimsuit, you do a formal, you do a cultural outfit, and then you do like a talent show portion. I played the piano.
You played the piano?
I only took like 1, 2 in high school.
Edwin.
But I played.
Oh my God!
I felt real badass.
Crazy.
I played the one that got away from Katy Perry.
Like, you just just casually continue to drop more and more things that you're great at?
I'm gonna send you guys like.
We need a list.
Yeah, I'll start sending you pictures so we could pop them in the frame.
Please.
But
Right.
my culture outfit was really dope. I was really proud at the time. Joe Arpaio was in charge in Arizona, and there was just like a lot of like
I remember
questions
that
about
time.
like immigration and all
Yeah.
that. So when
Yeah.
I went to Mexico, it was weird because I was representing USA,
Right.
but I'm from Mexico, like, and I'm supposed to act like I'm speaking English, and I only know English. To like halfway through the production, they're like, if you're Mexican, why don't you just speak Spanish? Like, we're in Mexico. But my leader at the time was like, oh, just speak English. Like, you're USA.
Wow.
Not that it was nothing bad, but like, he was just like, you're representing USA. Like, our
Yeah,
main language is
yeah.
English. Until I finally was speaking Spanish. And then I really got to connect with everybody. I met somebody from Panama, somebody from Brazil, somebody from Korea. Like, we
Wow.
had representatives from all over the world, which is so cool.
That's so cool.
I became very like culturally enriched at that time.
After that, did you see modeling the same? Because like you started meeting all these
No.
people from different countries, and I'm sure they started for different reasons as well. So like, how did the modeling perception for you shift after that experience?
It like totally opened up my world. It's almost like that episode of Nemo where he's just like in his little like coral, and then he goes out to like the big coral. It's like there's so many avenues of modeling, and we had learned in modeling school, like, you know, there's like runway and commercial and print and
Right.
swimsuit and all the things. But then when you're really like seeing it, like every model had their specialty. We had fitness models in that contest, so that was like a whole new avenue that I perceived. But it just made me more experienced and a little bit more, I would just say like conscious to modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's almost like I gained personality, and then when you're back into modeling, you lose personality.
Okay. I
Yeah,
see
because
what you
pageant is very much charisma. you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah.
I aced everything but my fitness portion. I didn't have a six pack at the time, but I still was first runner up.
Dude.
Well, like, it's because my competition was strong. Like, my competition had like 8-packs and shit.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I had a 4-pack.
Yeah, because you just like threw your the way your life works is so amazing. Like,
Right.
you're just.
But if there's a will, there's a way, you know.
You like knew when those opportunities were coming up though, like because
Yeah.
you knew that if there was somebody better than you wanted to talk to them and you wanted to find out how you can do what they're doing. So that's something that I feel like a lot of people too like get nervous about is like just talking to those people. So how would you recommend someone start a conversation like that? Like let's say they're too scared to walk up to the director or whoever. How do you usually spark that conversation?
Literally just introduction, like, you know, don't get me wrong, I don't want to make it seem like I just did this and I went about my things. When I did that pageant, almost everybody told me like, no, don't do it. Like, even my mom was like, no, don't do it. I was like, Mom, please take me to Mexico. She's like, I'm going to Mexico, like, I can't take you.
Right.
So I literally found a way by myself.
Yes.
But to start off, just an introduction, like, hi, I'm Edwin, what do you do? Oh, you're a photographer? Cool. Like, how long have you been doing photography? Like, just ask open-ended questions, I would say. Like, maybe get into the niche of things, and just connect. I think if you have a true authenticity, you're bound to connect.
Yeah.
But I
True.
feel like if I'm not a professional model and I'm trying to act like I'm a pro model, then people are gonna be like, okay, this is a little phony.
Yeah.
So, you know, just being authentic to yourself. Like, hey, I'm an amateur model. I'm first starting up. Any tips or any opportunities you'd recommend?
Okay.
Being a student. That's what Seth
Being a
said,
student,
too.
I always say that. I've always had that mindset. I feel like I've always had a very humble mindset. But like, you're always a student in life. There's always more to learn.
Talk about your family a little bit, because I know like you are from a family of creatives, like, right? There's a lot of people in your family that do creative work, which is
Yeah.
so cool, because sometimes like in creative worlds, like you are around people like nobody's in creative, like your family, you know what I'm saying? So like talk about how that has impacted you and like your journey and your motivation to continue in the creatives.
Yeah, so I definitely been the most creative out of like my family. So it's like me, my mom, my sister. She's 10 years older. So out of the three, I've been the most creative. Sometimes it feels like the black sheep. But then like when you dive deep down, like there's a lot more sometimes to your family roots than you could think of. Either you're gonna love what you love and you're gonna be the first one to do it in your family, or you might come from a lineage of people in that. I've met a lot of people who do chiropractor work who their grandfather or their great dad was a chiropractor.
Right.
In my family, we've been beauticians. So my mom learned hair from her mom. My grandma didn't do it professionally. She was a seamstress more so, but like mainly a housewife. And then my mom was the first of 8 of 8 children to be into cosmetology school. And
Wow.
it's so crazy because my mom's had like, she's been an entrepreneur from the day she was born. She was
That's
supposed to go to school in like her little village. She's like, no, I want to go to school in the city. So she would walk every day to the city just to go to school.
Dang.
So she'd always tell me in the morning when she would take me to school. I used to walk to school and I'm taking you in the car.
And she was being for real.
And she was being for real, yeah. But like my mom's a cosmetologist. I then became a makeup artist. I have 2 aunts that do cosmetology. They do hair. My sister, the last 6 years, got into lashes. So my sister does lashes, brows, teeth whitening, and she's actually getting into ear seeds, which is like acupressure.
Oh, interesting.
We're kind of getting into more of a holistic route. I took a Marma course last year, and I love like the power of physical therapy. It goes more into that, like physiotherapy and like your spiritual body, emotional body, mental body. But anything that has to do with self-development, I'm all about.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
That's dope. So how did you start finding your way in the fashion scene here in Arizona? Like, did you meet someone who was already like in the scene out of all the people you've met, or like how did you start meeting everybody in the community here?
I think because Arizona's so small, like our fashion community is this big, so like you're bound to meet everyone and everyone. I think from my own modeling school, it's funny because it was like a Latin-based school. So we did a lot of like things with different quinceañera expos or like different regional artists like corridos and like reggaeton. So like they have like their own little niche community. And around that time, I started applying for Phoenix Fashion Week. And at that time, literally, like I created my own mold. Like people would literally tell me, if you're not blonde, blue eyes, and tall, like you're just not a model, point blank, period.
Dang.
And I was like, damn. At the time, being young, I didn't have representation.
Yeah.
So there's not someone that looked like me on camera or on TV, you know? We were always like a supporting act. So literally, I decided to do it out of my own. And then now we have so much diversity, so much inclusion, so many mixed and melting pots of fashion and beauty. Luckily since Arizona is on the smaller spectrum, like you could go to a lot of shows and a lot of social outings, and it's just about connecting really. Like I love fashion for myself. And a lot of times fashion can strike up a conversation. Like fashion is a conversation starter. I think Tom Ford says it, or Giorgio Armani, like fashion is not something you put on, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And really, I mean, when you're in New York too, I feel like that's really where like you see the people show their personality through what they're wearing.
Oh,
like
yes.
it's some people like in New York, like their outfits are like layered, you know, like they know how to put together an outfit out there. So
yes, and it's so practical. I feel like my closet was growing a lot out of like wanting to have a collection and wanting to have like the same sneaker in every color or like the same jacket in every shade. But when I went to New York, it's like people are very minimalist there because there's not a lot of storage.
Yeah.
So like you learn to be very practical with your pieces.
Right.
Okay.
And you reuse them in different ways.
And we've spoken about this. Like it's really about having like a capsule wardrobe.
Yeah.
And where does that capsule wardrobe mix and match with your other pieces? Don't get me wrong. You could always have like a one piece that stands out.
Of course.
But then like I have my jeans that like I love to wear with certain things, and I can mix up or dress down, dress up.
Gotcha. Okay.
That makes a
So
lot of
is there
sense.
one that you like more? Like, let's say you had a really big opportunity for like either makeup or runway. Like, is there a certain one that you would choose over the other? Do you like, how do you kind of choose between which one you're going to go towards?
Yeah, it's so hard. I feel like because my day job does involve makeup, I'm going to definitely like maybe take that over modeling because there's just more opportunity for payment. But with modeling, it just really depends on the opportunity. I think because like I specialize in makeup, that's like my forte. But if someone asks me like, do you want to do makeup or do you want to do modeling, I'm always going to choose to be in front of the camera. But I know when to also help someone out behind the camera.
Sure.
I think there's just a lot more your growth in business can advance a lot more in makeup than in modeling, because modeling can sometimes be a little bit more seasonal or a little bit more like independent contract work.
Okay.
As opposed to like with makeup, you have a little bit more of like long-term growth.
That
Okay.
makes sense.
Is there like any? So are you signed for modeling or anything like that, or is there like any way like for makeup is like the next level to get to? You know?
Yes. I know you asked 2 questions in the last one because you had asked me like what's my biggest opportunity that I've had. I'm independently contracted right now. What's cool about different states is like there's makeup agencies, so they'll send you to go do like a production or go do makeup for TV, or they'll send you for like runways. Hopefully there's something soon starting like that in Arizona. I am with one agency that will do like events. So the last one I had was like a corporate event for like financial advisors, and we were doing touch-ups for like headshots.
Oh,
So
that's
that was really
cool.
cool and like practical. But then I've also had like one of my favorite opportunities was Bumble and Bumble came, and they hired the Bobby Brown team, because I used to be with Bobby Brown, to go do makeup for the fashion show. So they kind of had like a private makeup trend show for just hairstylists and hair salon specialists.
That's sick.
And they did like a real life demo, like sheer cutting in person. So that was really cool.
That's so cool.
Something similar like that in activation, I had something with Danessa Myricks. And literally this opportunity fell in my lap, and it's so crazy. I remember I had a Sunday off, and I typically don't. I work every weekend. And I was sleeping in late, and I had like 3 missed calls. And I was like, who's blowing up my line at like 11 in the afternoon? Like, I want to sleep till 12. And then I check, and they're like, hey, Edwin, please call us back. It's Danessa Myricks. And I was like, Danessa Myricks? If nobody knows out there, she's a big makeup artist, and she started from like the bottom up. Like, she started making her own formulas in her garage to like being at Sephora and like all over the world. So I was like, Danessa Myricks. And then I pick up the message, and it's basically them saying like, we don't have a makeup artist in town. It's the Women's National Basketball League, and we need an MUA. Like, your kid is covered.
No
Like,
way.
you just need to bring your brushes. And I was like, wow, like, definitely on my way.
That's so
That's
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah, and after the show, they had bought like food and like a special sports clothing and like flowers, and they were just gonna throw it all away. So I was like, I'll take the flowers home. I'll find someone to give this clothes out, and then, because a lot of times for the activations, like, you're making everything look beautiful in the room, but then this room has to be discarded of after
Right.
the event. Yeah.
That makes a lot of
makes
sense.
sense.
And how did they find out about you? Like, that was through the agency?
That was actually through a friend that I have in common, who I had
Okay.
applied for the company, this Myricks, and she had me on her roster, but the company just never had extra budget to hire anybody else but one
Got
person.
you.
So she's like, hey, I'm sick. I got food poisoning. Like, you're the first person on my roster. Do you want to do it? So I was like, all right, yeah.
That's so
Dang.
cool.
And basically with that company, you just had to be very much, like I say, certified in melanin. You just had to make sure you were really good with all skin tones, because it's a black-owned company. Female, too.
That makes sense.
So what would you say is probably like the most difficult thing to learn for makeup?
I would just say maybe like technique. Like, we could all have the same products, but it depends how we apply it, you know?
Okay.
It depends on the pressure.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that's actually where I was going with that. Thank you for is, like, do you have a signature kind of makeup look, or do you have like anything like that where you know this is your style of makeup?
Oh, yes. I either have 2 signature styles. So, like, CQ has done one of mine, which is like my classic, Your Skin But Better soft glam. It's very monochromatic. It's very, like, the same color that's found in the eye, it's found in the cheek, it's found on the lip. So it's very monochrome and harmonious, but soft and filtered. Very much like HD skin. So, like, I like to have glowy skin, but matte T-zone. Very defined eyes and brows, and then lip, of course. So it's either that's going to be like a signature look for something on daily, or I love me colorful. Like, I love playing with color. I love mixing color. So if you look at my page, like, you'll see a lot of colorful stuff too, like blue eyeshadow with purple liner, or like pearls and diamonds, or a pink body paint. So I also love like different color stories.
Nice, nice. So which one was like the most difficult to get down? Was there one that like you really had to practice on?
They both have an equal amount of like difficulty, because people think natural skin is easy, but sometimes you have to do extra things to make it look more natural.
Okay.
And you have to have a little bit more refinement in terms of like layering or applying the makeup. But then when it comes to color, sometimes not color shows up on everybody the same. So you either have to put different types of bases or mix different colors and reapply and pack colors. Because sometimes
Okay.
you'll put color on and then you'll finish and the color fades. So you have to add more color,
Ah, interesting.
more pigment.
Talk to us about the prep process, because you're really big on prepping the skin, what you do before you even put makeup on someone's skin. So dive into that a little bit, because I feel like your process is really unique. Like, in comparison, in my experience, like in comparison to other MUAs, I feel like it's really unique, and that's why I think a lot of your makeup stays for as long as it does. So talk to the people a little bit about like what that means and how important that could be for having your makeup last.
Yeah, it really all started when I worked for Dior.
Okay.
So after leaving Sephora, I had gotten a job. I actually went back to Aldo during COVID. And it's funny, someone came into the store and they were talking about MAC and had applied to MAC. And nobody was like answering me, and they're like talking about MAC. I'm like, do one of you ladies work for MAC? And they're like, we work for Dillard's. Why? Are you a makeup artist? And I was like, I am. And what's up? Like, where's my resume at? Like, no one's called me.
Dang.
And they're like, do you want to work at Clinique? I was like, that's not really my cup of tea. Clinique is a little bit more older clients or really young clients that have acne.
Okay.
I like color. Like, I need MAC. I need Danessa Myricks. I need
Yeah.
like Anastasia. So I was like, I'll do it if that will get me my foot in the door, but that's not what I want to do. So I got in there, and then once I was in Dillard's, like when you're at Sephora, you learn a lot of skincare. But then when you're in like prestige beauty, like you really learn skincare. Like they have like medical grade doctors. Like Dior has some of the most advanced like skin ingredients in the world because they're owned by Louis Vuitton. So there's no budget. Like if they want the best roses from France that stimulate, growth in your skin, they're gonna get the Rose Provence.
Wow.
So through that, I really learned like the benefits of skincare, and like really good skin equals good makeup. Just like a good foundation for a house equals good stability and growth. So it's really just starts at the base, If my lips are dry and I apply something, they're still gonna be dry. So you can't always look for a fix in things. Sometimes you have to fix it at the root. And I really apply that with everything. Like even if I look at things holistically, like why treat the symptom when you want to get to the root cause?
Yeah.
So for me, just making sure like your skin prep is there with like lips, skin. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be the day of. Sometimes someone should have a good skincare routine before they even meet you. Or like my skin should be balanced before I even go to an appointment. Like nobody wants to. I don't want anybody to sit in my chair that has like dry skin, crusty lips, like your face is not washed, you have your eyeliner from last night. So it's always important to like start fresh and clean.
Okay.
What would be a good tip for someone that wants to do that? Like what would be a good tip they can do before an appointment to make sure that they're ready for an MUA appointment?
Maybe like 3 days before shaving, like everyone should shave their face or dermaplane. Maybe a week before, because before I started getting into my niche of makeup, I really wanted to do celebrity or bridal. And so in a lot of that, you really have to do a lot of skin prep and like really like massage the skin, like push it in the product, give that little extra luxurious treatment. But a good skin prep would be exfoliating a facial beforehand, or maybe the night before, using a face mask, a lip mask, maybe some eye patches, and then the day of just showing up with like hydrated skin, like maybe your sunscreen or your moisturizer. But typically like your makeup artist should have everything else. If they don't, maybe you need to like
maybe you should should book you.
They should book me, most definitely. Or just like if I know my skin does really good with rose water, I'm probably gonna bring my rose water with me. If I know chemical sunscreen, maybe sometimes makes me sensitive, I'm going to, maybe make sure to speak on that. So I always ask clients, too, like, are you allergic to anything? Do you not like something?
That makes sense. Okay, so talk to us about fragrance. Okay, so that's something that you also specialize in that we haven't touched on yet. Talk to us about how you got started in fragrance in that world and where you are now. Like, how did you get started, where you are now in fragrance, and how that also comes into play with everything else you've done, modeling, MUA. Yeah. How does that all work together?
It's so funny because these are like my three loves in my life, like fragrance, modeling, and makeup. I've always loved fragrance since I was young. Literally, when I was 15 and I had my first paycheck, I went to Dillard's, funny enough. Or like, no, it was actually like a little Arab shop or something. And I got 1 million from Paco Rabanne.
How expensive is that? Is it expensive?
Fragrances have changed a lot in price over the years. At the time, maybe that was like $80.
Dang, that's maybe a lot though.
Yeah, maybe that same fragrance now costs like $130.
Right.
But it was like,
as a teenager though, that's.
It's also crazy because if you were to smell that back in the day, that was like a macho man smell.
Okay.
Like it was like very like alpha male. So I knew I wanted that. I bought it, and that was like my first love. But even before that, when I was like 7, I got like blue jeans by Versace.
Wow.
And so I've always had an initial love for fragrance. Like my family's always given me fragrance over the years. I had an auntie who works for like Jafra, which is like an Avon company in Mexico. So she'd always give me a fragrance like every year. And then I found out about like the dupes in LA once I was like 14 or something. So I was like, oh, I could get CK1 over here instead of getting the real stuff. But I'm gonna speak on that in a little bit.
Okay.
But I've always loved fragrance. I think it started at Sephora too once I got more fragrance knowledge. And then once I was at Dillard's, like my mind was on another level. Because fragrance is very much artisanal, like wine. Just like you smell the wine, you smell the notes, you smell the energy or the theme or the experience of that fragrance is the same way. If I'm wearing something classy and chic like this, I don't want to smell clean and powdery or fresh.
Right.
I want to smell bold and strong and unapologetic and regal. So I think fragrance ties into occasion. It also ties into what you're wearing. Just like you put on different shoes, you have a different set for different occasions, different times. You're not going to wear something that you wear every day to a special night out or your wedding night.
Right.
And then I've also just loved it for like, I've loved it for myself, but then also fragrance can also create memories. Like we all know there's a scent that reminds you of your grandma or your grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's a time where like, when I first went to Hawaii, I loved ylang-ylang and jasmine. So now when I smell that, it reminds me of being on the beach. So fragrance has a lot of olfactory stimulation through the brain. And I'm so honored to work for a company called Initio. For nobody watching this, check out Initio on their website. They create functional fragrances. So we have a collection of aphrodisiac-infused fragrances with pheromone enhancers. They'll boost libido, they'll boost attraction, they'll boost confidence. We have a whole nother collection that has oud, which comes from Middle East. It takes 50 to 80 years to make. It's kind of like it's kind of like a fungi that takes over the argar wood tree. And it's very expensive. A little vial of oud is more expensive than gold currently.
My goodness.
And scientifically, oud will reach your lymphatic system and it helps with anxiety. So you feel very grounded, you feel very regal, very like proudful and brave. And then like the ancestral information on that is warriors used to put oud on their shields before going into battle.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like frankincense in different parts of the world. Because like I always say, like Jesus was giving gold, myrrh, and frankincense for protection, not so he could smell good. Because also every different plant has its benefits. Just like we know lemon brightens our mood, or like bergamot and citrus notes.
That's so cool.
Yeah. That is interesting.
So cool.
So after Dillard's, I loved fragrance for myself. I think that's where I started getting more into like my luxury and niche collections. That's when I first got like my expensive Tom Fords and like my Mind Games. And then when I got the opportunity to work for Initio, it's so crazy how things turn out. Because I had went in for Bobby Brown to Dillard's. I did a shift there. And randomly I see this fragrance rep. And I'm kind of like, what? Like, they have people? So I went up to him. I was like, hey, like...
I'm Edwin.
Right? No, but dead ass. I was like, oh, you work for Initio? Like, that's cool. Like, when did you start the job? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, yeah. He was very, like, I'm going to be honest. He was not fucking with me. He was like, yeah, I work for Initio, blah, blah. I was like, cool, dope. Like, is there, you know, how'd you get hired? Like, what's the process? Like, he's like, you know, I applied on Indeed or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. Well, you know, I would love to connect if there's ever an opportunity that you need somebody. Or, you know, like, you need a backup. Like, I'd love to give you my info. He's like, yeah, I'll keep you in mind. So, like, it was just dead in the bud. I was like, it is what it is, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
And I met this amazing lady named Yolanda. Shout out to Yolanda, Yo Sosi.
Yes.
I met her and she was with L'Oreal. And she was with Armani and one more company, Armani. And it doesn't matter. L'Oreal is the company because L'Oreal owns, it's very much monopoly. So, like, L'Oreal owns Lancome, Armani, Valentino, YSL.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
She was with those companies. At the time being, I was the account executive with Pat McGrath. So I'm like, from being a retail employee, then I became a freelancer, which is like an independent contractor, to then being like on payroll with the company. And having to do everything from like stock, trends, inventory, event planning, communications.
And this is for makeup, right? Okay, at the time. Okay.
So I was with Pat McGrath at Sephora as a visitor. I meet her. She's with YSL and L'Oreal. We're talking about fragrances. We connect. We just connect. And then we didn't see each other for a while. She then later tells me she's getting a job in a fragrance company. So I'm like, congrats, friend. Like, that's great. Because we both were excited to work for independent companies. Because a lot of companies are corporate. And you're just a number at the end of the day. So there's not a lot of room for growth. You just kind of get stuck at where you're at. So when you're with a more independent company, you get to grow with that company. And there's more opportunity to... climb up the ladder, we could say. And so I was leaving Pat McGrath and she had just got the job with Initio. And she's like, I know you love fragrance. I know you're good at what you do. Do you want to work for me? I was like, I love that. Like, thank you for thinking about me. She's like, okay, great. Like, it's a position in Chandler. And I live in the west side of Arizona. So I'm like, oh. I was like, well, I mean, if the pay is worth it, because I would be driving an hour. So like an hour of gas, an hour back. I don't know if that's worth the opportunity, you know? Like, I would be overextending myself at that point, killing myself to get there. So she's like, well, that's the only opportunity I have, but I'll keep you in mind. Nothing happened for 2 months, and then someone left the company at the position I'm at now, which is on the west side of Phoenix, Arrowhead Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got the opportunity to be at Arrowhead Mall.
That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
and I'm with Inicio now at there.
That's
But
so
Dude.
awesome.
that's my main store, but we'll have events at Nordstrom or Neiman Marcus, so I'll pop out wherever she needs me to pop out.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. Dude, you've just been through so much. Like,
Yeah.
you've gone through so many
Really?
crazy opportunities that you've met the people to get you to the next opportunity. That's crazy. So what is like your goal now? Like, do you want to make your own product line or like fragrance, or kind of what do you kind of see yourself in like the next 5 years?
My goal's always been to be a creative director. So from being an from being a freelancer, you then could go up as an account executive to then go up as an educator. And then later down the road, you're kind of like regional makeup artist or world educator. That's
Okay.
always been my goal because I'm all about teaching. I'm all about educating. I'm all about learning, whether that's in fragrance, makeup, or modeling. So I'm doing a little bit of some educational things with those companies. But really, like, it's funny because in Arizona, I felt like I've exceeded all the games that there is or levels in this world.
Yeah.
And then like Arizona just keeps growing, so there's like more room for growth.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times I'm like, I've done and seen everything here, like I want to leave.
Yeah.
But then I say that, and then new things start popping up or new opportunities, and like Arizona's growing so much. We're the 5th largest city.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love Arizona. Before being an adult, I was like, I want to burn this popsicle stand. Like, there's nothing here.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how
dude,
long
me
you've been
too.
here, but like, there was nothing here back then.
Yeah.
Now Arizona's like a baby LA.
Yeah, it's getting
And
big.
I love my city, but I definitely want to explore other regions. Because just like how we said, there's different fashion, different places, there's different energies, there's different opportunities,
Yes.
there's different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely want to be independent still and grow in other cities, but I would love the opportunity to be a creative director. And I don't know if I would have my own product. I definitely have my own fragrance.
Okay.
Oh, I cannot wait.
I've had mine in the past, my own little concoction with essential oils. But yeah,
Sick.
definitely see myself as a creative director or a creative consultant.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see you doing that with just all the experience. I'm sure there's so many people that can benefit from like working with you or honestly like interning for you, you know. I feel like you're at that level now where you can pass down everything you've learned, you know. So, and I mean, like you said, you're still a student. Even all of us to this day, like we still are actively learning how to progress. So that's so cool, dude.
It's true.
It's awesome hearing everything you've done.
Thank you. Yeah, like it's only up from here.
Facts.
Your life is so amazing. But I think that it's a testimony to how you put yourself out there and you are a student for life, you know? Like, I think that's something that everyone could take away from this episode is that you're a student for life and you're willing to always put yourself in a position where you can learn what can I do to get to the next level and network. And I just think that that's such a huge thing in the creative field is to just put yourself out there and to network. And then, you know, just all the different avenues that you can go with it. Like, you've really expanded in so many ways and blossomed in so many ways over the last, I don't even know, the longer I've known you for what now,
Like
going
6
on
years.
6 years.
Yeah.
And you've grown so much in all the different avenues that you do. So
Thank you. And if there's anything I could tell
yes.
anybody is always connect with your like-minded peers. A lot of times the most fulfilled and creatively expressive that I felt is with my peers. Like I know we've collaborated on things that are still my favorite to this date. There's been other projects I've worked with like-minded people where we're both like, you know what, we both have a love for the art. Like we're doing it for the love of the art. One of my favorite projects of those is I have a friend named his brand is called Expired Citizens. And so I was like, you know what, your collection inspired me for a shoot. Let me, work my vision. So I creative directed a shoot, and basically I wanted to recreate the homie characters in real life. So those little figurines that were like little cholo homies in real life. So what would that look like? Where would we be? Like, what's the setting like? It's in my profile, but that's still one of my favorite shoots to this day.
That's so
check it
cool.
Well, sweet. No, well, thank you so much for coming on the show and just sharing your experiences and everything you've done up to this point. So I appreciate it. And
Where can we find you?
Yeah,
tell
where can we
the
find you?
people where they can follow you.
Everything's streamlined on my end, so it's Edwin Lunes across all the boards. EDWIN LUNES on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much everything. Yeah.
And then your makeup
Awesome.
page is Lunes
Yes,
Artistry.
because I'm trying to divide my TikTok into two now, but my
Okay.
makeup page is Lunes Artistry, LUNESARTI. Wait, I'm forgetting artistry now.
ARTI.
You know, Lunes
Yeah, you know how to spell it.
ARTISTRY.
We'll put it on the screen,
Yeah,
right?
we will. Yeah.
Y'all can book me there. Y'all can book me. All my modeling stuff is my page. All my makeup stuff is on the makeup page. And yeah.
That's
Wow. Well, thank you so
Awesome.
much for being on today and tonight. I guess we should say. I said it is
Right.
the evening time for us, but we appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us. So thank you
Yes.
again. This is
Thank
an
you.
amazing
Thank you.
episode.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. If you guys enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Show some love.
Bye, guys.